Mike Arce, my friend. It is so good to have you back on the show.
I am excited, as I always am, to be on your show.
Listen, I have been following you as I always do. I've always followed you on social and check out all the amazing things that you are doing. And I've got a question for you.
Yes.
When am I going to see the Mike RC show on mainstream TV?
Oh, man.
I
Well,
reckon that's your next step.
I'll tell you right now, if my wife finds out we're having a Mike RC show, her eyes will roll so back in her head that I'll have to surgically put them back. So,
Well, I've got to tell you, honestly, just the incredible work you've done over the couple of years that I've known you, it has just been phenomenal. I mean, we first met when you had produced and launched the GSD show.
mhm.
Obviously, you're doing amazing things with Loud Rumor. Your most recent project, of course, is the Goat Show, which I
Uh-huh.
want you to tell everyone about. And then we're going to have a quick chat about your book. So tell everyone about the Goat Show.
Yeah, so two things. Number one, the GSD show is actually going to be making a return. Shh. Now, is it a secret if we're on a podcast saying it? But yeah, it's coming back. We're moving into a new office, bigger, better, awesome stage, everything, and we are going to be finding a way to get your butt down there too, because we got to get you on the show. But we got some awesome people coming on, so it's great. And people like you and I, our mission is obviously the same, right? We just want to help people from all different angles in the same industry, and I'm glad that there's more people doing it, right? So it's great. And then the Goat Show is a show that I created initially because I wanted to find a way for me to get three things. I wanted three things badly. One, I wanted coaching, which, as you know, I'm a big advocate of hiring coaches and mentors, and it gets expensive, Chantal, really, really expensive. So how can I find a way to give them value in return to where I don't have to pay so much for coaching, but I can get some good coaching? The second way, or second reason, is because I wanted to build my network. And so the best way to network is you meet a guy and he knows a guy, and usually they're at the same caliber or better, and then you just kind of keep going, keep going, keep going, and next thing you know, you've got a really good circle over time. And when you're wanting to make some great connections in spaces that maybe you don't have any in yet, it goes a really long way when you've got people that you know that can make those intros. And then the third reason is credibility. It's just a fact. Like, we've had people that have admitted to signing with our company just because they saw me with Marcus Lemonis from The Prophet. There's people that have admitted signing with me because they saw me with, John Lee Dumas or Russell Brunson or Ryan Dice or Dennis Yu or whatever, right? There's credibility behind it. And there's people that have asked me to speak on stages because they just assume that if they're hanging out with me, I gotta be like, maybe they want a piece of it too. So it's been great. And in return, we have this show. We put a great production out. As you saw, there's like an awesome Sports Center theme to it. We do a lot of B-roll, and there's a lot of storytelling. There's a lot of value to the audience. Every question I ask, though, I actually want to know the answer to. So I'm not asking questions for anybody but me. And then I share that with I basically share my consulting sessions with the audience, with some incredible people that can consult me.
Well, I have loved watching the show, Mike, and very quickly, you should just tell everyone. I'm sure they know what GOAT stands for, but just in case.
Greatest of all time. So we interview people that are arguably the greatest of all time at what they do. And the GSD show is get shit done.
Yeah.
Can I curse on here?
I absolutely love both of those.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I love that. You can definitely say that. So, guys, if you haven't checked out The Goat Show, then make sure you tune in. I'll include a link in today's show notes. I actually just finished watching the episode that you did with the awesome Tom Breeze. We love Tom Breeze. He's an amazing YouTube expert. That was such a good interview that you did.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's great.
He's so cool. He's so cool. And I'm excited to hear that the GSD show is coming back. I read
Yes.
that, so I cannot wait to see your new set. And the reason that I was asking you about the Mike RC show is because one of the things that you just do so phenomenally well, other than interviewing, is you've got a professional. I feel like you've got an amazing professional recording setup and set, and it always looks amazing. So I absolutely love it. So I'm really excited.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Mike, one last thing before we actually get into the main interview, which we're going to dive
Mhm.
into in just a second. You've got a little book there somewhere, I think. Shall we
I
start
do. It's a booklet.
Okay.
It's Fitness Marketing Secrets: How to Destroy Your Competition in the Fitness Industry. It's quick little guide. So it's about 60 pages, 52 pages, like a deck of cards, 52 pages. And we go over a bunch of stuff. So I'll just read you the table of contents real quick. Some cool stuff that you get in here, a few of them. So one of them is 3 things to never do. These are 3 things that, unfortunately, almost everyone in the fitness industry is doing it, and you should never do it. The top 5% stay away from these things like the plague. Swipe your competitors' traffic. So how to make it so when your people are actually researching competitors or checking out your competitors' stuff, they actually start getting you in front of them instead. Another one is take yourself to school. So the things and the places that you should be learning from right now, that we're the top 5%. We work with over 800 studios, right? So for the top 5%, we're talking the 40, the best of the best. The people, like, where do they go? What do they learn? And what do they know that they have to do every single day? Period. Every single day. The funny thing is, there's a clear pattern as to what the top 5% do and what the top 5% don't do, and what the bottom 5% do and what the bottom 5% don't do. And so this book kind of covers those top and bottoms.
Awesome. So fitness marketing secrets by the one.
Yep, fitness marketing secrets. And you can get it at fitnessmarketingsecrets.com.
Awesome. We will put that link in the show notes as well. So we've done all of our catching up, Mike. It is time to get into this interview today. And of course, we're going to be talking about pricing psychology. And I guess where I want to start this conversation is that, I heard you say that many sales are lost at the price presentation stage. Can you explain why you think that is?
Yeah, so a big thing that you hear a lot of gurus say is, if somebody didn't buy from you at the point of, making that sale, at the point of the close, they didn't buy from you, it's because you didn't provide enough value. In reality, I just don't think that's true in most cases because, small businesses, local businesses do a good job of, in fact, I think they talk too much, they over-deliver, they build a great rapport. That's a part they have no problem with, right? People have no problem with the rapport building and the educating and all that stuff. Where they have a problem is asking for the money at the end. And a lot of people have their pricing, their programs set up in a terrible way, but the reason is because they're copying what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is really just copying what everyone else is doing too. And so nobody has any real rhyme or reason. They think they do, but there's no actual psychology behind the pricing. It's their best guess as to what they think would get the person to want to buy. And really what they're doing is they're making all price options look attractive. Depending on what they may want, there's something for everybody. That's wrong.
Okay, so talk to us more about that pricing psychology. Help us understand that. I mean, how can we actually use pricing psychology to influence our consumers' behavior?
So I think when people come up with their pricing, I think what they do, I don't think people spend too much time on it. I would be surprised if the average person spends even an hour on it, right? And that's incorrect. I mean, there's literally companies, there's teams, there's analysts, there's people that are hired to design pricing a certain way, spend weeks on it, right? And most people just don't spend enough time on it. Now, you don't have to necessarily spend weeks because we're not really coming up with rocket science here. You don't need to because your competition sucks so bad at it. You just have to be better than them. So you don't really need to spend weeks on something like this. If you're Nike, different, right? You're competing with Under Armour. You're competing with, if you're Coca-Cola, you're competing with Pepsi. But in this case, you're competing with most people that just suck in the industry at doing this. So you want to design things in a way to where everything is a no-brainer. If everything is a no-brainer, they don't need to think about it, which is the number one objective people face.
Okay, so we want to make it easy for them to say yes.
We want to make it difficult for them to say no. Because everything's easy, right? It's just some things are easier. It's easy to say yes. It's easier to say, I'll think about it. We want it to be hard for them to say no because it just makes... So I'll give you an example of how like a movie theater will do it, right? So a movie theater will... And this is a study that was actually done. If you go to our... if you go to Mike'sDecoyEffect.com, you can actually read this article I wrote, and there's a video on it. And the video actually shows a study of people going to the movie theater, and they take a group of people, go to the movie theater, and the options were a small popcorn for $3 or a large for $7. And more than 80% of the people chose a small for $3. And when asked why they chose the small, they said $7 is a little out of line for popcorn. It's too expensive. It's a ripoff. Then what they did is they took the same demographic, same size, a volume of people, put them in, and what they did was they kept the small for $3, they kept the large for $7, but then they added a medium for $6.50, right? So small $3, medium $6.50, large $7. That's all they did. More than 80% of people selected the large now, right? But here's the great thing. For the people that selected the medium or the small, all that cashier had to do, she didn't have to be a great salesperson. All she had to do is say, you sure you don't want the large? It's only 50 cents more. And everyone go, okay, yeah, let's use the large. You can watch it. You watch the study, right? See, what happened is they want the large. They didn't say, let's create an option for everyone. If they did, it would have been $3 for the small, $5 for the medium, $7 for the large. That's how everyone, depending on what you want, will get something right? What they did is say, I want to sell larges. Therefore, I'm going to create something that's symmetrical to the large with the exception of one variable, and it's going to be less attractive of a variable. 7 and 650 are very close together, but for 50 cents more, it makes sense. The $3 one doesn't even get any attention. No one even looks at it. Before, it was the one everyone ran to, but with the addition of the medium for 650, it's completely ignored in the next study. And now it just becomes to you a no-brainer, of course, 50 cents more. Why would I ever pay $6.50 for a medium? For 50 cents more, I get something twice as big. And so that's an example of psychological processing when you're making that pricing, that packaging.
Mike, I love that example that you just shared, and I do want to encourage everyone to check out that article that you wrote on the pricing decoy. We'll make sure that we put a link in today's show notes. So what I would love you to do is take that psychology and that you just talked us through with the popcorn, the movie analogy. Talk to us about that in terms of a personal training business owner or, say, a small studio owner, perhaps even an example that you've worked with. Let's put it in the terms that we can all,
sure,
apply to our business. Let's chat about that.
Sure. So first thing, three options. Now, for this example, right? Now, keep in mind, there's not one way to raise your kids. There's not one way to get in shape. There's not one way to sell a program. So there are different ways you can do. There's a 2 pricing option that works okay as well. We're not going to talk about that. It's a little bit more advanced. Let's talk about the 3 pricing option, which everyone could do today. Everyone could do this process today, okay? So first thing is you have to understand what type of a studio you are. Like, what's your offerings now? Is it by times a week? So for example, we have a 1-time-a-week package, a 2-time-a-week package, and an unlimited package. Or are you contract? Like, they're all the same, but we have a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month. What is it? Okay, now you know what you are. And by the way, packages, you should find a way to do recurring revenue. Get away from the packages. People that say, oh, packages work better in our business, don't understand their business. Packages don't work better in any business, okay? Recurring revenue works better. Now, if you're looking for an option that's easier to sell, because you want to find something that's easier to sell for your skill set today, well then yeah, you stick with your comfort zone. But what I'm telling you is what's best for your business is recurring revenue, and level up your skill on selling that so that it's easier for you to sell that, because you're going to need recurring revenue. Okay, so now that we got...
Let me just step in for 2 seconds, Mike. So what you're saying is having people on, I don't know if this is an Aussie term, I think it's international. So having people on direct debit, recurring dues.
Direct debit, yeah. So like every month it's $150 a month or $250 a month or whatever it is, right? Get me used to that, because every time you have to ask me to buy, or hey, your sessions are out, did you want to get another 12? Like, come on, seriously, you're giving me the option every month. Just let it come out. I don't even pay attention to it. So anyway, okay, so I have to pick one for this example because I'm not going to do both. In my article that I wrote, I do both. Okay, but let's just say you're the type of studio that does, like, okay, if you want to come here once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week or unlimited or whatever, right? Let's say that's your style. Okay, great. First off, we got to eliminate 1 because you can only have 3. So let's say 1 time a week, 2 time a week, unlimited. 1 time a week, 2 time a week, unlimited. Now what we do is we say, which one do we want to sell? Everyone wants to sell the unlimited. You should want to sell the unlimited, okay? The only reason you wouldn't want to sell the unlimited is because you don't have a lot of members yet for you to realize that even the unlimiteds will still only come 1, 2, or 3 times a week anyway. So there are the people that don't have enough members yet, they think, like, if we do unlimited, what if everyone comes 6 days a week? Yeah, no, won't happen. That'd be amazing that you tapped into the one community that values fitness that much. Okay, it's not going to happen. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1 time a week, 2 time a week, or unlimited. Okay, so now you want to sell unlimited. So what we need to do is we need to make the next one, 2 time a week, so similar in price that it just makes no sense to go with the 2 time a week. And then we need to make the 1 time a week so different looking that no one will choose it, okay? So this is gonna sound crazy. People that are listening to this are gonna think it's not gonna work, and that's every reason why it will work, okay? So what you're gonna wanna do is we start with the one we want to sell. Want to sell unlimited. Okay, what do we want to sell that for? What I don't know what your industry is, right? Like Pilates, because you got reformers and stuff like that. Like it may be more expensive than your HIIT studio or boot camp. So you got to know what you are and where your margins are. But let's just say you go, I'm okay with selling it for 150. 150 a month, unlimited, I'm happy with that. Great. If that's the case, first 149. And don't be the one that does 147 because you want to be unique. The real reason people do 7s at the end is because they don't want to be the guy with the 9 at the end because they feel like everyone knows it's really 150. No, relax. There's a science behind it that you didn't even bother studying. You're just assuming that it's not going to work. You're negatively projecting because you think that's going to be salesy and you don't like salespeople, so you're going to not be the guy that you don't like. Science shows end with the 9. So 149, okay? Now, your next option is going to be 144. So, your unlimited's 149 a month. Your 2 time a week is 144 a month. Right now, your audience is going, that sounds stupid. No, it sounds like a no-brainer, okay? Now, your 1 time a week is going to be, it's not going to make sense not to do it, right? So, what you're going to do is you're going to pick something like 139 or 129 or 124, 134, right? So what you're ultimately doing is, let's say we go at 124, 124, 144, 149. So 1 time a week, 134, 2 time a week, 140 or 124, sorry, 1 time a week, 124, 2 time a week, 144, unlimited, 149. Now we're not done then. We're not done. There's more. That 149, you have to look at everything horizontally, okay? So I see this to the left, middle, and the best one's on the right. Now, underneath that, you're going to have, underneath the 149, you're going to have a bunch of stuff that just doesn't come with the first and second option. For example, free body fat testing, free BMI testing, free measurements, nutritional consult, free t-shirt, free water, whatever. It doesn't matter. We make a decision. This is the one I'm selling. And the other products are only designed to make that one the no-brainer. When you do that, you can do what you're supposed to do, which is not rely on great salespeople, because you're not going to find them at an affordable cost in this industry, not to rely on great salespeople to close. The pricing sheet will do the closing for you. And so what you do is you turn the sheet and go, here you go. So these are different options. Which one kind of jumps out? That's all you say. Because it makes no sense, to them, it only makes sense to pick the last one. And they just buy. This is important because when everything makes sense, it takes me a little longer to look at it all. When everything makes sense, I have to make sense of it for me and my life and my routine, because most people don't have a routine yet. Not you may, right? The fitness professional may. The average person doesn't have a routine yet. So for them, they're thinking like, can I do this 1 time a week? What's my schedule look like? And so if the pricing is set up like 119, 149, 179, they're really making sense of it. And so now what happens is discomfort starts settling in. Because what does every employee do? The salesperson gives them the sheet and stands there uncomfortably. Now, at a restaurant, the waiter walks away, right? They give you the menu and they walk away. There's no pressure to look at all the options. But it's weird to do that, right? In the fitness world, you don't say like, here you go, I'm going to walk away. I'll come back in a minute and a half. Tell me which one you like.
Take your order.
Yeah. So here what happens is if I don't make my decision in 5 seconds, that 6 second, I'm uncomfortable. That 7 second, I'm uncomfortable. Not only am I, the consumer, uncomfortable, the salesperson's uncomfortable. So now the salesperson, if inexperienced especially, will feel the need to break the silence and start suggesting stuff, right? Like, for you, I think it would be good if we do. And now if there any misalignment with what I was thinking, which you're probably going to do, now I feel a disconnect. Everything in sales is subconscious. Our brain doesn't, so don't make sense of it. Because if you make sense of it, that's not the reason I'm buying, right? How many times have you looked at everything on paper and everything makes all the sense in the world, but it doesn't feel right, so you don't do it? Vice versa. How many times has everything made sense? I'm sorry, nothing made sense on paper, right? Everyone you know is saying, don't do it, don't do it. But it feels right, like you believe in it and you do it. So your gut makes the decision. Your brain just rationalizes if it's too big of a risk, right? So when you're trying to rationalize it for them, you're actually hurting the sale. And for them, because you're allowing them to use their rational mind as opposed to gut, you're hurting the sale. And that's why you get a lot of I need to think about it. I need to get away from I need to think about it by making it a no-brainer. Because if you have no brain, you can't think. And that's what a no-brainer is. Make it a no-brainer. No need to think about it. Close the sale. Move on. And you don't even need a great salesperson to do it because the sheet does all the work.
Phenomenal. I love everything that you've just gone through, and I want to thank you for just going to so much detail around that, because at the moment I can actually see that pricing sheet in my head, and I'm hoping that all the FBP family can see that as well. They're visualizing exactly what you just stepped us through. I've got a couple of questions.
And really quick too, even if they can't visualize it working for them yet, in that article that I share with you, mikesdecoyeffect.com, there is a video that's a compilation of all the fitness studio owners that trusted me and sent me a video saying how it worked for them. I'm batting 1,000. Nobody doesn't make that one work.
Awesome. So there's a couple of things that I want to touch on here. Number one is just how important, and you referred to it as a pricing sheet, I think you called it. And I hate this, that I come across so many conversations or PTs, not so much studio and gym owners, but I guess PTs that don't have a formalized pricing sheet, that just kind of fly off by the seat of their pants and just have a conversation with someone. So I love your recommendation on having that written down and having that sheet written. That's number one. Number two, you explained the order of that. So you had like the cheapest package on the left-hand side, and then the middle package, and then the package that you want them to purchase on the right-hand side.
Right.
Now, I assume that sequence is necessary, that whatever we want them to purchase, we put on the right-hand side. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, people read left to right. So they're going to start with one, they look at the next one, and then they end with the last one, which looks a lot like the second one. They never go back to the first one, and they stay on those two.
Yeah. Okay, so that's really important. The next thing is, you touched on this during that answer, and you were talking about the pricing psychology around the 99, finishing a price in 99 versus 97. And what I was interested in is you actually gave examples of, I think it was 124, 144. So are you basically saying it's like 124.99, 144.99, 149, or is it just the single? Can you? So
you don't need to add the 99, because remember, you're not looking to sell the other two. So the 9, what it does is it automatically brings a relativity to the number to the left of it. So for the 149, they're looking at the 4, they're seeing 140. Now, keep in mind, everyone knows 149 is really 150 consciously, but there's two brains working. They can't get past it. It's kind of like you ever look at like one of those images and like you know it's something else, but you can't, and then finally, like whatever it is, like then you finally see it, like it's a man kissing another woman. But like when you looked at it the first time, it's one of those weird designs, right? And like the first time, all you could see is the guy looking to the right. That's it. You don't see anything else. And then once you see that, oh, with this perspective, I see a man kissing a woman, now you can't unsee it, right? So the brain works in a weird way to where even though we see something, sometimes we can't our subconscious can't get past something else. So we have to remember, we're not selling to the conscious mind, the rational mind. We're selling to the gut. The conscious mind knows it's 150. The subconscious mind doesn't play that game. Okay? So we have to understand. So the story is, there's a few different, if you read the book Priceless, it's a great book. I'll actually put an image of it right here. Okay? For people that are watching.
For all of our audio listeners, Price List, is it called?
Priceless, like no price. Priceless.
Priceless.
Not list, with a T at the end, not that. Okay, so Priceless. When you buy that book, there's an example in there, and I may chop up the story, but there's a few different ways, theories as to where it started. One of them was because the British dollar and the American dollar didn't convert properly. They were doing it like in eighths and stuff like that. So by putting something at a 9.99 at the end, it ended up breaking things even. And there's another theory that a big box store, I believe it was Macy's, or Bloomingdales, one of those two, actually started doing 99s because there was a little doubt in the cashiers and them pocketing money. So they created a dollar amount that forced them to get change and by 1 penny off increase. So it was just like, it is just a way for security. So there's a couple different theories, but here's what happened. They started realizing that the 9 actually worked. And so it was working so well, and they tested it again, 8s and 7s, and it didn't really matter. 9 always won. And so as kind of like they were joking around, these two guys were joking around in like the 80s, and they said, we should open up a 99-cent store, and they did, and obviously that blew up pretty well. And there was competing 88-cent stores and 98-cent stores, and nothing ever worked as well as a 99-cent store. There's psychology behind it, and I don't think enough people read or understand pricing. So there's an example in this book as well where they actually said, okay, we have 30,000 people on a mailing list that we send a catalog to every month, right? It's a clothing store. So you got 30,000 people on this mailing list. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to send all 30,000 people the exact same catalog. However, this 10,000, that one blouse, the most popular, we're going to make that blouse $134. In the other 10,000, just that one blouse is going to be $139. I'm sorry, $34, not $139, $34. The other one, it's going to be $39. And in the third group of 10,000, it's going to be $44. So they're all identical every way, with the exception of that one blouse. It's 34 in one, 39 in another, 44 in another. And so out of this group of 10,000, that group of 10,000, and this group of 10,000, the $39 one actually outsold both of the others. The one that's more expensive and the one that's cheaper. The 9 works. The 9's worked in so many studies. Your show's not long enough. Okay? But people don't take the time to ask why. They just start projecting the wrong things, and people need to study this game. It's really interesting how your sales process could be a lot smoother if you clear some of the obstacles that you don't realize are actually in your way.
So let's wrap this up with a couple of really strong takeaways for all of the listeners out there, Mike, because what I'm imagining right now is if I'm a personal trainer or if I'm a studio owner, I want to take the opportunity now to go back and have a look at my pricing sheet, to go back and have a look at the structure of the way that I've actually set my pricing up right now. That would be my very first move. What takeaways can you give the listeners today based on our conversation around pricing psychology?
Well, number one, definitely remove the clutter. If you can't give that price list or that price sheet to a random person that doesn't know your business, and within 30 seconds, within 15 seconds, they can turn the paper over and they can tell you what they get for what price. If they can't do that, it's too complicated. You can, because you created it, like you get it, right? And your employees can, because they talk about it all the time. So that's number one, reduce the clutter. If you are going to add a ton of stuff, it should only be to the one that you actually want to sell, and the other one shouldn't have all that. The next thing, know which one you want to sell and design everything around that. Don't look for an option for everyone. Look for an option that helps your company the most and make it so that everyone wants that one. Okay? Read the book Predictably Irrational. It's a great book. That'll give you a good understanding as to all the different ways you can price things. Read the book Priceless that I just explained. That's another really good way. And also read the book Ultimate Sales Machine. It's another really great book by Chet Holmes. So those are 3. I mean, here's the thing. To be great at anything, not good, great, you've got to be well-rounded. Tom Brady is great. He's well-rounded. He doesn't just know how to do this well and everything else he sucks. He knows how to do it all well. He studies the game. He studies it, right? LeBron James, Tiger Woods, all those guys. So as a business owner, you can't just be great at getting people in shape. You can't just be great at getting people to build rapport with you. You can't just be great at, customer service, something like that. You've got to, have you even read a book on pricing? Because you're not going to be born with that. That's like saying the competitor that wants to be on stage at a fitness competition because he's born genetically gifted, that he's also intellectually gifted where he just knows how much protein you should have. He doesn't know what protein is. No one's born knowing, okay, I need this much protein, carbs, and fiber. No one knows that. You have to get that externally, put it internally, And then your physical genetics can get advantages better than others. With you, hey, great, that's awesome. You're good at sales. That means nothing if intellectually you don't know what the heck you're doing with your pricing, with your follow-up, with your whole sales, with your ads that you're creating for Facebook and Instagram. Like, is there a reason you wrote that? Or did you just write it? Do you have urgency, scarcity? Do you have popularity? Do you have rarity? Do you have all those strategies inside of your ad at the same time? Or did you just do what you think sounds good and you think most people would like? Because then you're winging it. And it doesn't matter how good you are, you're never going to be great. You're going to be the guy that could have been great.
Mike, I love your passion for learning, and I love that you always go over and above when it comes to helping educate people in our industry. It's one of the things that I admire so much about you. You, in everything that you do, are always trying to help all of us out there, and I want to thank you so much for that, because in the 30 minutes that we've been speaking together, you've really, I think, given us so much to think about. You've given us an opportunity to really go back and reassess what we've got within our businesses when it comes to our pricing sheets and how we're presenting our pricing to our members and to our personal training clients. So I honestly cannot thank you enough, and I want to tell you that your first show that we did, when was that? Was that like I feel like it was 2 years ago. It was ago when you came on and talked to us about sales. It absolutely rated its pants off, that show. And I know this one is going to be exactly the same. So I want to thank you so much for, once again, everything that you do for our industry. And thank you for coming on and sharing your expertise with us today.
You got it. And here's the thing. As a podcast host, I know you just wrapped up. I know you did. But can I share
one thing to say?
I just realized I cheated your audience by not giving them one good takeaway that I think would be important.
You go for it.
Is that okay?
You've got the stage.
Never do your best to avoid looking in the industry for inspiration on what you should do. As well as far as offers go, as far as advantages go, as far as competitive advantage go in your marketing message. Avoid looking in the industry, because you're never gonna win being an echo. You're gonna win being a voice, right? And so what I always recommend doing, and this is what I do as well, look outside of fitness and what's working outside of fitness and how can we bring that into this industry. So I'll give you an example, right? You've heard of like the 72-ounce steak, like when you go to restaurants, and like if you eat the 72-ounce steak, it's free and you get a t-shirt and we put your name on the wall, but if you can't eat it, you got to buy it, right? You heard of that. You've seen them all over, right?
Totally.
That's awesome. You know how many people that brings in? It brings in TV shows. It's good for PR. It's good for everything. So let's say, as an example, you're a spin studio, right? Now, for all you people that are not spin studios, stay with me here. But if you're a spin studio, and let's say you have like the metrics where it shows you like rotations per minute, calories burned, and some people have like that power, right? Where it'll say like, oh, we're at, I just did a power, an effort of 259. Like that's your score, right? And so at the end, you can say, okay, well, what do people rarely hit? Let's say it's 500, right? Let's say almost nobody hits 500. You had a couple people tops in years. So you could say, hey, attention competitive people in Springfield. Do you think you have what it takes? Get free spin classes on us for life. For every class you can do a 500 score. Few people have done it, and many more have tested and failed. Could you do it? Right? Now think about the people that you bring in. What kind of people you bring in? Competitors. People that can do, like, right? Like people that like they want to fight, they want to battle, and most people are going to miss it.
I'm in. I'm signing.
Right? I'm like, I got to see how far off am I, right? And if you win, it's free, and it's free every time you can do it. And I'll give you your T-shirt, and we'll put your name on the wall. But if you can't do it, well, then you got to let us keep that $25 that you paid when you first walked in. Right? Now, some of you guys that are yoga studios, you're going, well, that won't work for me. I know. There's more ideas in that. You didn't think about that one until I said it. But what can you do? What's Tesla done? What's Coca-Cola done? What has Macy's done? What is being done right now that when you look at it, you should always watch commercials. Never forward through commercials. Never. Why are you waiting to watch the entertainment consumers want when you should be watching what businesses are doing to grow? Study that. Get a little education every 3 minutes for 3 minutes every 15 minutes, right? Watch 3 minutes of commercials every 15 minutes of entertainment. Study it. Why did that work that way? How could I do something like that? And then find inspiration, because when you get inspiration from outside of the industry and bring it in, and it's never been brought in before, it actually looks innovative, but it's not. You copied, but because no one's copied here, it looks like it was never done.
Yeah. And I love some of those examples that you just shared with us, Mike. And I remember going into, and I learned from this, I went into a Nike store in the US a couple of years ago. And I remember one of the things that they had done at the time, and at the time it was brand new. And I was walking around the store with like my handful of, workout gear and everything. And there was a massive queue down the front of the store.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to queue up to go and pay for my goods. And the next thing I know, like, not that I said that out loud, but the next thing I know, one of the Nike store employees walks up to me with a mobile payment device and is like, hey, I can check that out for you right here. And I was like, yes. And for me, from a customer experience point of view, I was like, this is so cool. It's so simple.
Right.
But I've just had an amazing customer experience. And so for me, that was a great takeaway from another industry that I learned of, how you can adapt your business model to really properly look after your customers.
You can look up to Nike, to Hyatt, to Disney. That's a great example, Chantal. That's a great example. But like, how did you feel that one time at the Hyatt when you stayed there? What was it that made you feel that way? How can you do that in your place, right? As a business owner, you should always be looking at 3 things every time you're out at other businesses. 1, you should look at their employees for recruiting. How could I hire that person? Would I want that person here for me? A waitress, whatever. Like, I will look at you and I'll ask you questions, and I'll ask you questions about your job. I'll say, hey, so do you like working here? How long you worked here? Why do you like working here? That's awesome. And if I don't like the answer, I go, I'm always curious, and they walk away. And if I do like their answer, I go, so is this where you want to be for the next 5 years? And then I never say, are you open to other opportunities? Because everyone wants to be loyal, right? Everyone wants to be loyal. What I say is, are you totally closed off to other opportunities? Because nobody wants to be not open-minded, right? So you want to play to what people want to be or don't want to be. I know you want to be loyal, but I also know you want to be open-minded. So I'm going to ignore the other thing, and I'm going to say, are you totally closed off to other opportunities? No, I'm always open. Awesome. And then we start from there. And then, you should always be looking at their pricing. Like, how are they pricing this out? What makes me do I want this? Am I feeling a pull? Like, is there a current pulling me to buy this? Why am I feeling this way? Right? And the next thing is the experience. Did that employee say something, or the way this is laid out? Like, do I feel something? Why do I feel? What's making me pull this way, positively or negatively? Wow, do we do that negative thing? We do that. Oh man, we need to stop that. I didn't realize it felt so bad. Bring it back to the team, right? So look at the feeling you get in these areas. It's important.
So important. So that's a great one to finish on, Mike. So we need to make sure that we're always looking outside the industry and being open-minded to how other people do things and thinking about what we can learn from them. So Mike, thank you so much. It is always it's an honor to speak to you, and it's always so much fun to speak to you. So thank you for joining us today on the show.
And it is fun to speak with you too. Thank you for having me.